Hi everyone, and welcome to Sip and Stitch. If you're new here, my name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And I like to get together with y'all usually around the third or fourth Friday of the month to do a live machine embroidery tutorial from start to finish that we call Sip and Stitch. Just realized I left my coffee on my other table, so I'm gonna go get it in a second. But I hope you are all doing well. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear and see me okay. Hopefully technology works for me today, but I hope you're all doing well. I'm so excited to be back. I took this summer off to be with my kids. I have Abigail, who's 12, and Elise, who is 8, and they are so much fun and have a lot more energy than I do. But I had a great summer with them. And then we also started a huge project here in my house of renovating I have a 2-story house. And we renovated all of the downstairs. So that put me behind. I wanted to come and do a Sip and Stitch in August, but my house was not allowing me to. So I'm very happy to be back here in my craft room with you making things, because I was not in here very much at all this summer. So I'm glad to be back in and making things. The project that we're doing today, I just made my 3rd one right before I started the video, which I'm excited. I still haven't finished it too, so I'll have to finish it up to show you, but super, super cute. So yay, I see everyone. Okay, great. Tanya says she can hear me. Christine says, very happy to have you back. I am so happy to be back. Hi, Elaine from Mississippi. Ooh, Linda says the renovations are looking great. So if you are on my email newsletter, I sent out an email yesterday, and I put pictures of the fun stuff we did with the girls on vacation this summer. And then I put pictures of the house, kind of before, in the middle of construction, and kind of where we are now. So I'm glad you are liking the renovation. So we still have a ways to go, still have a lot of finishing touches, but my kitchen is functional, which is great because it's great to have a kitchen. I'm able to be back in my bedroom. We had moved upstairs, and I kind of took over Elise's room, which she was not happy about, but it was only for a few weeks. So back in my bedroom, and we have a sofa, so we have a place to sit, but I still have a lot of finishing touches. I still have baseboards I have to paint. I still have, we're redoing the stairs, so I have to stain stair treads, which is fun because I can't pick a color. Lots of little things. And then we still have a storage unit in front of our house with most of our furniture in it that has yet to come back in, but it's coming along. All right. Yay. Hey, Star. How are you doing? I'm so glad everybody's here. So a couple of announcements before we get started on today's project, which I'm super excited about. Number one is I am terrible because I've been so consumed with doing things in the house. I didn't tell people ahead of time very much, but I did a tutorial for Sewing Machines Plus Sew Fest, which was last week. And you know, if you've been to any of Sewing Machines Plus's virtual events, they're awesome. And it's a great place to learn so much and to get really great deals, and they have great giveaways. And I taught a class there last week, which included a free bookmark design. Where's my bookmarks? Here. So these are the bookmarks that we made in the tutorial. And if you go to my website, I have a whole section for SMP projects. And you'll see the post where you can get this free download, and you can watch the replay of the class if you want to go do something fun this weekend. You can make some bookmarks, and you can put names on them. You can customize them. This one's all wrinkly because I have to iron it. But you can add designs to it, lots of fun things. And the design is a free download. So go check that out, Sewing Machines Plus. And if you can watch the whole replay of the week, and I don't know what the deals are, but I'm sure if you call them and you say, hey, sorry, I missed, but I saw something I'm really interested in, I'm sure you could talk them into getting that deal. And my salesperson that I work with at Sewing Machines Plus, her name is Jean. She is excellent. So if there's anything you ever want from Sewing Machines Plus, call Jean. Do I have her info? I thought I had it on. Here we go, where I can show you on the screen. And this is the 1-800 to Sewing Machines Plus, and her extension is 139. So you could just call her or you can email her. It's jean@sewingmachinesplus.com. Tell her Carly sent you and she can help you hopefully snag some of those deals that they were having last week. So that was one thing I wanted to tell you about. So you can go grab that free design. The second thing is I'm finally doing something that I've been saying I'm going to do. I was supposed to do it in August. My August did not work out the way I planned, but I'm starting it today. So if you are loving your embroidery machine, but you are hating your computer for getting, editing embroidery machines, or if you're having trouble with your embroidery software, specifically Embroidery Essentials. Earlier this year, I made a very detailed step-by-step course on all the things that I love about Embroidery Essentials, with video tutorials and breakdowns of all the wonderful functions of the program. So I launched the course this past, was it March, I think? And I had my first set of students and it was great. And we had a wonderful time. And I think everyone loved the course, but I was waiting to reopen it again this summer, which I fell behind, but I opened it today. So if you missed out earlier this year, or if you're new to my channel or my website and you are struggling learning how to use Embroidery Essentials, that's the name of the company is named Embroidery. The name of their software is Essentials. And this is what I've used for years. Highly recommend. It's an awesome program. And so the name of my course is Embroidery Essentials. And it's a beginner course just for this particular embroidery software. It does not include the software. It's just a video step-by-step course teaching you all the ins and outs of the program in a really thought out what do you want to call it? Order, or I tried to make it as organized and easy to follow as possible. What the course includes is 12 modules going over all the aspects of the program, and we even have a special module for going over specific project types, like personalizing a project with a name, something simple, merging designs, creating an applique birthday shirt where you want to have a applique number 3, an applique of whatever the theme of the party is. It could be like a train and then the child's name. Lots of different things. We went over how to stitch out multiples of in the hoop projects. Lots of little tricky things that I think people tend to stumble over. We have primary examples in the course, along with breaking down all the features of the program. So I have opened enrollment today. You can find the link to the course in the description below. You can also see it, I believe, on my website as well, which is carlybell.com. But look in the description, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, you will see the link to the page to get all the info about the course and then to actually purchase it if you're interested. If you have any questions about it, I am leaving the enrollment period open until next Friday. So this is for a limited time, only for a week, starting this Friday, ending next Friday. What is this? September 27th, I think. At midnight, enrollment will close. And I'm not sure when the next time I will open it again, but I do know that the price will increase. So I'm putting it on, it's for a special sale price for today. So I wanted to put my email up. So in case you have any questions before you purchase, you can email me at hello@carlybell.com. So very excited to finally release my course again. I know people have been waiting. People have been asking. Even Blaine is asking me, when is he going to have it available so he could put it on Sewing Machines Plus, his website. So I'm going to get with him probably next month so that'll be available there. But I wanted to offer it to all of my followers first at a sale price before we launch it full time and at a higher price. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at the questions. Okay, so here, Melanie has a great question. Does the course cover the other add-on programs? I believe I did cover thumbnailer in the course, but not at this time. I don't have, I mentioned enthusiast. We mentioned stitch artists. We mentioned alpha tricks. I go over what all those other programs can do, but as far as detailed step-by-step lessons on those other programs, they are not added yet. So that is a goal of mine for next year, is to make smaller add-on modules to those other programs that you can add on to this later if you're interested. So that is something that will be coming. Yay, Maggie said, Carly's classes are awesome. Such a good teacher. Yay, thank you so much. Let's see. Roxy says, do you use in the add-ins like stitch? Okay, so that's what we just talked about with what Melanie answered. If you are specifically interested in stitch artists and you feel like you have a really good grasp on essentials, I do stitch artist classes in my VIP membership group. And what that is, it's a monthly membership. It's only $9 a month. And with it, you get a Zoom class with me every month. So like what we're doing right now on YouTube, where everyone can watch, we do a private Zoom class with just VIP members every month. And in those classes, we either make different projects or we have stitch artist lessons. And pretty soon I'm trying to make it to where we have one stitch artist lesson every month and one actual embroidery project every month. So check out my VIP membership group. There should be a link down below to join that. With that membership, not only do you get those Zoom classes, but if you can't attend the live Zoom class, you get the recording of it, and you get a library of all of our previous classes for about 3.5 years worth of tutorials. And every month I give a free embroidery design. So you get access to 3.5 years worth of embroidery design downloads. Some of them are specific to that month's project. Some of them are just for fun to add on to whatever you would like. So come check that out if you're interested in just learning about stitch artists. Okay. All right. Oh, Phyllis has a great question. So she's already bought the course. She was one of my founding students back in March, but she has not had time to watch it yet. Is it still available? Yes. When you purchase the course, you get lifetime access to it. So you can watch and rewatch whenever you would like. So even if you can't get to it this year, you know, holidays are creeping up on us already. You're like, maybe in January or February, I could sit down and do this. You can still purchase it now and watch it next year, year after, whenever you would like. You do have lifetime access to the course. All right. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so I think that was all of my announcements. The other thing I'm working on is, so speaking of the VIP membership, we are going to have our private Zoom class this coming Tuesday. When is that? September 24th. Our VIP membership will have our September Zoom class on the 24th. And we're doing a really fun in the hoop project. So in the spring, we did this, where we did this in the hoop quilting. And this can either be a bench pillow or a table topper. And we had a spring theme. So we're going to do a fall theme like this, but I'm going to make it square. So it could be a square, like 18-inch pillow or a table topper and fall theme. But all the designs on it will be included with your membership. And then we'll have a 2-part class of stitching out the blocks and then a class on putting everything together. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that is going to be starting next Tuesday. So if you're a VIP member, look for an update on that probably this evening on a link to the Zoom class and the design downloads and supplies and everything. The other thing I'm supposed to start working on next week is the holiday workshop. So if you've been with me for a while, every year I have a Sip and Stitch holiday workshop. It's in the works. Stay tuned. We're going to have it in November, but it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, finally, let me shut up and let's get embroidering. Let me show you what we're doing today. Now, my friend Julie and I found out about string theory fabric Art. I hope I'm saying it right. I found out about them, I want to say in 2019. The first time I went to the Applique Getaway, they had a booth. And then I made a friend at the Applique Getaway. Her name's Julie, and she watches and follows a lot. And she loves them. And she's told me about them all the time. We need to do a project for them. And I added it to my list, but it kept getting, my list is long. So finally, we're doing a project by them. And I'm a little bit obsessed. Like I said, I've already made 3 of these, but it is an in the hoop spider web purse, zippered bag. Now, not including the handle. This is a pretty strap that I got, and I'll tell you where I got it from. But the spider, which gives you this like 3D effect, the purse, the zipper, I have, these pieces of hardware, all of that was done on the embroidery machine, which is, to me, is just so cool. But this is what we will be making today. So in the description below, and if you go to my website, there is a button that says Sip and Stitch. Let me put that down there. Okay, so you see it scrolling at the bottom now. That page on my website tells you everything about this project. It gives you the link for the design, the link for all the supplies that I'm using, and just all the details about it. I put as much as I can in the description box, but sometimes it takes up too much space, so they won't let me write as much as I want. But the homepage should have everything for you. And then after this video is over, there will be a blog post with just this project on it and a link to the recording of this tutorial. But this is what we're making. Now the strap, because I know I'm gonna get questions about it. I was actually shopping at Kirkland's recently, and Kirkland's is like a home decor store. I don't know how many states have them, but super cute stuff. We were shopping for furniture, and they had a whole accessory section with these beautiful beaded purse straps. And I live in New Orleans, really big Saints fan, and I was like, oh, this will be great. Let's see. Bring it back, camera. Bring it back. I'm trying to focus here. This would be great for my clear purse that I have to bring to the Saints games. And we actually went to a Saints game a couple of weekends ago, and I have a little clear purse, and I just hooked the straps onto it, and it was great accessory for the game. And then after I made this, I'm like, ooh, my black and gold strap will look great with this purse. So that's where I got it from. I put a link to it down below if you're interested. The time when I bought it, there was like a 40% off sale. I think it was Labor Day. So they have good sales at Kirkland. So I think it only ended up being like $18 after the sale, which is great because I've been in stores with like these pretty beaded things and they cost like at least $50. So good deal. But you can use any purse strap. You can make your own purse strap, or I put a link on Amazon. Amazon has tons of options of pretty purse straps. You can also buy, like I bought this at Hobby Lobby. I think they call it like webbing. So like you can buy like a whole roll of this and then just sew the hardware on it so that it has the clasp and everything on it. But you see I got some different ones here. So you can make your own straps as well. I have not made one. I have intentions of making one. Haven't made one yet myself, but it doesn't look that hard. So if I get it done, I'll show you and I'll tell you how I do it. All right, so let me show you another one I did. So today we are going to be making the 6x10 version of the bag. When you go to their website and you see the options, one of the things I liked is you can just go buy the 5x7 design. You can just go buy the 6x10 design. Of course, I'm extra, so I bought the bundle with all the sizes because I'm like, I want to make all of them. So this is 6x10. This is 5x7. I want to turn this into a wristlet, but I have to make a strap for it. So that's on my to-do list. But I want to make a little like wristlet strap so that you can add this. And then right before I started this video, this is the 4x4 little zippered bag option they have. And no matter what size you get, I'm pretty sure, maybe with the exception of 4x4, you're also going to get this dangly addition because this is done in a separate hooping. And you get some that you can either use as like charms. Where did I put it? Over here. Some that you can use as charms, or you can, I think you can make these into earrings. I stitched them, but I never cut them out yet. you'll also get this. It comes with the design. So you can go to their website, String Theory Fabric Art. I have a link directly to the spiderweb purse. They have all kinds of cute stuff. Also join their Facebook group because she'll post when they have sales and special offers. Like I'm pretty sure right now they have a buy more, get more or discount. So like the more you buy, the better discount you get. So you can look at that as well. Let me check the comments. I gotta show this, Wendy. Leave it to Carly to go look for furniture and end up in accessories and looking for something for embroidery. Yes, that is me. That is definitely me. Always. And a lot of the times, like when I'm looking in those stores, they have a lot of cute pillow options, and most of them are embroidered or appliqued. And I'm like, I can make that. I can make that. I can make that. And I say I'm gonna make it, and then I never do. All right. Okay. So I started because I wanted to stitch out this 4x4 one before we started. I did not get all of my pieces cut like I was supposed to before the video started. So I still have some things to cut. But when you get the design, you get a really nice PDF printout with instructions. And on it, it will tell you if you're making the 5x7 bag, you need a 1x8 piece of fabric, a 4 3/4 piece of by 8 piece of fabric, and a 6x8 piece of fabric. And that's for your outer exterior of the bag. And then it tells you the sizes you need for the lining. So this bag is fully lined. There's a little step at the end where we're going to cheat, and I personally just use hot glue to hold the bag, but it is fully lined so that you don't have the raw vinyl or fabric with the embroidery, the backside of the embroidery where you could see it on the inside. So it's a really nice finished bag when you're done. But the PDF printout is going to tell you the dimensions of depending on what hoop size you're using on all your cut pieces. So I started to cut things out, but I didn't finish. So we'll do that together. And it's just step-by-step instructions on everything. But I made my own notes, which I should probably open. But I think I got it. I made my own notes as I was making it just to kind of like in my head simplify things. The first time I made this project, I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to be an intermediate project. Because most of the times the things that I make on here are very much for beginners. However, after making this and taking my own notes and what I'm going to show you today, I definitely think a beginner can do this project. So if you have been wanting to try an in the hoop zippered bag, follow the video and you are going to be able to make it. Because I know sometimes just looking at the PDF instructions, it can be a little bit confusing, especially if you haven't done it in the hoop project before. So that's what makes videos great. And I did see String Theory Fabric Art has their own YouTube channel, and they do have a lot of tutorials on their bags. So you can check their YouTube channel out as well. All right, so let's get started and we can talk about supplies. And I have to find my thing. Okay, here's my craft table. I see Becky saying, are you in Louisiana? Yes, I am right outside New Orleans. Most of the time people can hear me where I'm from. But yeah, I live right on the west bank of New Orleans. But yeah, you're from the area too. Yay, welcome, Becky. All right. Okay, so for the project we're going to make today, we're going to make the same 6x10 bag that I already made here. And you see we have this 3D spider option. This is totally optional. When I made my second bag, I didn't put it. I just wanted to make the bag. And so totally optional if you want to add this or not. I want to show you how to make it though, in case you do want to add this to it. So if you want the 3D spider, it's going to be a 2 hooping process. The first is going to be a 4x4 hoop where we're going to make just the spider, and then we're going to add it to this bag after. For both hoopings, for my spider and my bag, I'm using Cutaway Stabilizer. I like Stay Perfect brand. You can use whatever's in your craft room, but Cutaway Stabilizer. Then for the material of the bag, this bag is made with faux leather. Some people call it embroidery vinyl. Some people call it marine vinyl. but it's like a pebbled faux leather. I have a list of places that you can get it from, both in the description box and also on the Sip and Stitch homepage, that you can check out. But you don't have to use faux leather. This bag was made with fabric. And what I did was, to give it more structure, was I added this stuff, flexi foam. This one, I used flexi foam. I think they have several options. They have a sew-in. This one's one side fusible. They also sell two side fusible. So this, what I did was I ironed my black fabric on the adhesive side of the foam and then cut it, and I use that. So now the bag really has a lot. It's, you know, it's squishy. It has structure. It's just not going to flop over. But it's a non-vinyl option. And then the 4x4 bag that I just made, that I still need to cut out, I did with fabric, regular black fabric, and then I added quilting batting. So when I turn this one out, you'll be able to see what it looked like, but I added a little bit, the batting on the front and back exterior portions of it to give it a little bit more structure. So we'll cut this out later. That is for the exterior of the bag. For the spider, I do think you should use some kind of faux leather, or you can use felt or even some kind of craft foam. You want something that you can trim and have a raw edge on it and it won't fray all over the place. So you could do it with fabric if you want. Maybe if you add interfacing to it, it'll prevent the fraying from happening. But I do think the faux leather looks best with the spider. So I'm going to make the spider with faux leather. You are just going to need the cutaway stabilizer, the faux leather, and you're going to need some ribbon so that you can hang the spider from the bag. This ribbon was actually what I had a fat quarter bundle, and this ribbon was tied around the fat quarter bundle. So I was like, ooh, perfect, because I didn't have ribbon this skinny in my craft stash. So that, and then you're going to need some good scissors, because this was a little bit intricate to cut. So scissors to then cut this out, and that's it. And you need a piece of vinyl for the front and the back. So let's go over to the embroidery machine. We can start stitching that, and then I'll go over the extra things that you are going to need for the bag portion. Machine. Okay, so we're using the NQ1700e. I started off with a PE770. This machine is like the next step up. So if you have a PE770, PE800, PE900, they also have the SE versions, which is the sewing embroidery combo. This one's embroidery only. They do make a sewing embroidery combo just like this machine. I forget what the numbers are though. I want to say 3550 maybe, or even 3700. I don't know. But the very nice upgrade from my 5x7 machine is that this machine has a 6x10 hoop. And previously with the 770 and the 800, it did not cut jump stitches. This machine cuts jump stitches. It also stitches a little bit faster, and it has Wi-Fi. So some nice features if you have a machine that only can stitch on a 4x4 hoop or a 5x7 hoop. This is a nice upgrade. So I have my stuff on the USB stick just to make life easier for the video. So I'm going to click my spider. I'm going to hit set. I'm going to hit end edit. I'm going to hit embroidery. I have black thread loaded so that we'll be able to see. But the first stitch is the outline stitch. This is going to show you right where to put your faux vinyl. So we're going to stitch that out. Ooh, Anne says that spider would make a cute hair barrette. Definitely. You could take what we are stitching now and hot glue it to a clip. You can even add it to like a headband so that it's like, looks like it's it's on the side of your hair on a headband. So that's some great ideas that you can do. And then the other ones I think would be cute as big dangly earrings too. You can add some earring hardware to it. So let's see, Linda's saying she's new. Would the Stellaire be okay? Yes, I have the Stellaire too, and it is a beautiful machine. And actually, some of the examples I showed you today, I stitched on my Stellaire because that machine I always have set up in my craft room, so I tend to use it the most. I have a bunch of machines, and I go back and forth for my tutorials on using different machines, but I will admit, because that Stellaire is such a great machine and I have it set up right next to my desk, I use it all the time. All right, so here is my spider. I thought I had some scraps of black vinyl left over. The other project. Nope, I have no clue what I did with it, so I'll just cut another piece. I think I was able to get 2. So I'm just cutting this to where it's wide enough. So you want it to be bigger than your spider in both directions. So I think if I fold this in half, yeah, it's more than big enough, so I'll do that. So what this is going to end up being is this is the front of my spider, and then there's going to be a time where we're going to add it, and it's going to be the back of my, that's going to cover the back. So you need 2 equal pieces that are a little bit bigger than the placement stitch. And I did only stitch this spider one time, so let me make sure I am not forgetting anything. Okay, so before we go and add this on top, we do want to add our ribbon. So, and that's where this line is. I think it might tack it down for you right there. That's where they want the ribbon to go. So, and you want it to be up here. So I'm going to cut, let me cut the end off of this. It's all squiggly. Okay. And you are going to tape your ribbon coming out of the back, or it would be, in this case, the top of the spider in between those 2 legs. Okay. And very big supply I use throughout this project with both the spider and the bag is some sort of paper tape. You can also use, I've seen people use painter's tape, but you want a low adhesive tape. I've also used medical tape, but I'm going to tape it there and tape it up here so that it stays out of the way. Then I'm going to put my front piecing vinyl here, and there's going to be several things that it's going to run. It's going to run the red part of the spider. They have these inner parts here where you can do them a different color if you want, but I did them white, and then the outline. So we're going to run those inner parts right now with just the front. You can also tape this down if you want to. I like to save my tape so I can use it a few times. So you can do that as well. So you see this tape has some fabric strings on it because it was from the other project I did. All right, so now we can go back to the machine. It's going to stitch some of those inner parts of the spider. Okay. And I want those, let's see, the first part is red. So let me load my red thread. If you can't see, but on the side here, I use a thread stand. Whenever I use a flatbed machine, I like to use a thread stand because I never have good luck with my thread coming off of this spool holder on any of my flatbed machines. So I like to use that. One of the features I like about this machine a lot, because with my 5x7 machine, I have to remember to lower the presser foot before I thread the needle. With this machine, it automatically does it for you. So I could do that, and I don't have to worry. I've messed up my needle threader several times by forgetting to lower the presser foot on my smaller machine, and I don't have that problem here. So there we go. So now the needle is threaded, and I have my red step, got my red thread loaded, and we go. And then the next steps after this is going to be white. So I have my white thread here in front of me, ready to go. All right, while that is stitching, let's see what else I need to get ready. I just need to have my white thread ready in my back piece, and that's it. So I might go ahead and start cutting my pieces for the bag that I never finished. All right, so we're done with red. I'm gonna pull through. I always like to pull my thread out from the front instead of pulling it backwards through the thread path. So that's a tip for you to prevent problems with your thread path in the future. Trying to do this where I'm not blocking your view. Okay, I have a little tail here. You see this little red, oops, little red tail here. I'm gonna cut this real quick before I start. Okay, so that's that little red piece that we did. And now we're gonna do pretty much everything else is gonna be white. But you can use whatever thread colors you want. Okay, so we got 2 more steps of some little details, and then before the final step is where we are going to add the back piece of vinyl for the spider, and it will do the final outline stitch at that time. So I see Crystal saying, so yes, this spider is a 4x4, can be done in a 4x4 hoop. So that's what I'm doing it in right now. They also have an option of a zippered bag in a 4x4 hoop, which I stitched, but I need to finish. I need to cut it and turn it right side out before I show you, but I will have that done hopefully before the class is over. All right, so a couple little details. Yay! Shannon Go Savage Son. She is a Saints fan and she is going to Kirkland's today. They have some really cute ones, and they have other color combinations as well. So like if your team colors are red and blue, I think they had blue and gold. They had a few are white and blue. They had a few color options, but the beaded straps are just so pretty. Yeah. And she said also creating your own strap is not hard at all. Yeah, I'm definitely going to work on it because I have this other pretty kind of black and white webbing that I bought from Hobby Lobby, and I wanted to make a strap with that too. And I have a white and gold as well. That's pretty. Okay, so we got just those couple little details in the spider sewn. And I chose to do those white. You can do whatever colors you want depending on what vinyl you're doing. I'm going to cut these little tails, and then we're going to add the vinyl on the back. So some tweezers. Tweezers are great for when they have these little tails that sometimes you can't pick up and pull before you cut it. Okay, so that's good. So now we have this done, and we're going to turn our hoop over. When you turn your hoop over for any of the parts in this project where you have to add something to the back, you want to make sure you're not pressing too much on your stabilizer, because what that can do is it can force the hoop to pop out and separate, and then it messes up and you really have no choice but to start over. So whenever I'm adding something to the back, I try to be as gentle as possible. I'm making sure I'm adding this right on top of where I see the stitching is. and I am going to gently put my tape and rub it, but I'm not going to press too hard. And then what I'm going to do is once I have it on there, I'm going to turn it over. And now that it has a nice flat surface, I don't have to worry about nothing coming undone. Now I'm going to rub where I know that tape is on the underside so that it really catches and stays in place. They do also make, so you see I have this wool ironing mat right here. They make some of these that fit perfectly in these Brother and Baby Lock hoops so that you have a nice firm piece here so that you can do this without worrying about things coming unhooped. Or if you ever have to iron anything on the back of a hoop, those come in really handy. I think Dime makes them. All right. Oh, you see my piece is already coming untaped. Let me press it again. Careful, careful. Okay. So I have my piece taped on the back. When I slide it on, I want to make sure it's staying where it's supposed to be. And I could kind of lift my hoop up and look underneath and make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. All right, I'm doing my final step in white, so I still have my white step loaded. Last tip for you is, in order to prevent a big old knot happening on the back of this, what I do is I lower my needle while holding my top thread, and I pull my bobbin thread up. All right. If you are doing this final step in a color, it also does look better if your bobbin thread matches your top thread. So for lots of in the hoop projects I've done where I've just, if I was making the outline black, I would wind a bobbin with my normal black embroidery thread and just use it for this last step. I'm using white, so I'm still using my regular 90 weight white bobbin thread that I always use for embroidery. But if you pull up the bobbin thread and pull it out to the side and then start stitching, that's going to prevent that knot from happening on the back of your project, which I've had before. It almost ends up being like a little nest on the back, which doesn't always look great. But some in the hoop projects, you don't really look at the back that often, so it's not a big deal. But I like that little trick of pulling the bobbin thread up to prevent that from happening. Okay, so that's stitching. And I am going to keep working on getting stuff together for the big bag portion. Put these out the way. And then by 9 1/4, I'm cutting the pieces for the exterior of the bag, and I'm using this really fun purple soft vinyl that I got. I can't remember where I got this one from. This is probably, I don't know. This might be Glitterbug Fairy or Sweet and Sassy Blanks. I tend to stock up on all of their stuff when I go to the in-person shows. All right, so our spider is done. We have our ribbon coming out of it. This part is done, and now look, if you look at the back, that is done, and you could see this simple little tail that's easy to cut off. I don't have a big old nest and wad that sometimes happens in the hoop projects when you're adding on the back. So now we're going to go back to the craft table, and we can prepare for the next step, which is making the bag. So I can unhoop this. I'm done with this hoop for now, and I can put this on the side but I have to cut it out. There's a few steps of the bag that we can do. And then we do need this piece. And I could cut it out intricately later as well. So I'm going to put this on the side. Now I need my 6x10 hoop, because that's what I'm using to make my bag. So I have my 6x10 hoop, and I have a piece of cutaway stabilizer. Oops. So I'm going to put that on there. Make sure my hoop is in the right direction. My arrows are pointing to each other. Push everything in and tighten and make sure it's not going to pop out. That's what I love about in the hoop projects, is that I don't have to figure out placement of anything. I just have to hoop stabilizer. It's a beautiful thing. All right, so that is done. So I'm going to let me go back to my home screen, go back to my USB stick, and now I'm going to pick the 6x10 bag and hit set and edit embroidery. Okay, so it's ready. I got my hoop, my stabilizer. I'm gonna go ahead and change it out to black thread so that y'all can see everything, because it's gonna print out, that's gonna stitch out some placement stitches, and I want you to be able to see it. Okay, got my black thread loaded. Lower the presser foot, and the first step is going to be an outline pretty much of the whole bag, and there's going to be some specific stitches on there that are going to show you where to put your zipper. So I'm going to get that started. And coming back to the craft table while that's stitching, this is the pretty stuff I'm going to use today. This is a faux leather that is like metallic-y, and it has like a felt. It's much softer than this vinyl. Like this vinyl feels like, you know, your typical purse faux leather, and it still has a felt side on the back, but it's not as what you would call drapey as this one is. So it's a bit softer. So it probably won't have as much structure as if I would have used this, but I think it's going to have more structure than if I just used a piece of fabric. And you're going to need 3 pieces for your exterior. What's going to happen is this is the top front of the bag. This is the bottom front of the bag. And then you're going to have a zipper there. And that's where it's going to stitch the spiderweb design. And then when the project's over, this is going to be the back of the bag. And we're going to have the same situation with lining. We're going to have 3 pieces for the lining. Some's going to be the top front of the lining, the bottom front of the lining, and the back lining. So that's the type of material you're going to need. Something for the exterior, and then something for the interior. And then for the interior, you can just use your regular woven cotton, quilting cotton fabric, whatever you want. You can have some fun pattern in there, punch a color. You can just use plain white, plain black, whatever it is that you want. So you have your faux vinyl. You know, we talked about this. There's lots of options for the front. You can use fabric, you can use interfacing, you can use flexi foam, you can use batting, whatever you want to create some more structure for the bag. Now for zippers, you can purchase zippers at a specific length ready to go for projects. Like you could get a 6-inch zipper, a 9-inch, 12-inch, and so on. I personally prefer to buy what's called zipper tape. So I get like 3 yards of it. And then depending on the project, I just cut the zipper tape to fit whatever bag it is that I'm using. And they have lots of fun zipper tapes out here, out there, Amazon. I want to say, I think I got this one from Witchery and Stitches. Oh, I can't remember the name. But I saw them at the Everything Embroidery Market, and they have tons of bag hardware and zipper pulls and zippers and thread and all kinds of fun stuff. I'll try to remember when I'm done, and I'll link it after because I did not remember to link it before. But this one's fun because it's got like this black and white stripe, and then it has a zipper that changes colors to different rainbows. This is just black and gold. I have white and gold. I have white and silver. I have a pastel one. So lots of fun zipper tapes you can get. Now, zipper tape is going to come in 2 sizes. You see this one looks a bit, the teeth itself look a bit skinnier. This is a size 3 and this one is a size 5. So that's the difference in sizes. One cool thing about this pattern is you can use either size zipper tape. In the past, I have had to purchase a pattern specific for a size 5 zipper tape, or if I wanted to make the same bag in 2 different zipper tapes, I had to purchase 2 different files, one for size 5, one for size 3. So what's really cool about this design is you can use either size zipper tape on the same design, and I'll show you how to do that. The only thing with zipper tape that is less convenient than buying a pre-made zipper is that when you purchase a pre-made zipper, what we call the zipper pull is already on a pre-made zipper. It's ready to go. When you buy zipper tape, you have to add the zipper pull yourself. And I've done it for years, wiggling my way, getting it through there. But I finally broke down and bought something that I saw, I think at Applique Getaway, and it's called a zipper jig. And I totally forgot to link it. I'm just remembering. So I will try to remember to add this to the supply list on both the Sip and Stitch homepage and under the video description. But it's called a zipper jig, and it has a number 3 and a number 5. So depending on what zipper you're using. So this pull is made specifically for a number 5. These pulls actually came with my zipper tape. They're made specifically for number 3. So you got to make sure your pull and your tape match. So when you're buying them, because there's lots of times I go places and they have all these cute pulls, but they're all for number 5. So I have to watch it, in case I only had number 3 at home. These pulls wouldn't work on it. This is a zipper jig, and the way it works is it holds the zipper pull for you. So when you look at the pull, you'll see, I don't know if it's going to zoom right. On this side, there's this little divider in the middle, and they have 2 holes. On this side, it's totally open little square. Where the side we're working on is this side that has the little divider in the middle. That's where we are going to be inserting it. So this little jig holds my zipper pull for me, so that I can have 2 hands now on my zipper tape to guide it into here. And so let me get my hoop before I have to cut my zipper tape to the right size. All right, here was step 1 of the bag pattern, and it shows you the outline of the bag. And these are guidelines showing you exactly where to put your zipper tape. And it also, gives you an idea of how long a zipper tape. You are going to want your zipper tape to extend outside of these lines on the side. Okay. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is one side of this zipper tape outline is closed and one side is open. That's going to tell you the orientation you want to put your zipper on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is unroll my zipper tape, and I'm going to cut it to where I have, hang over here and hang over here. And scissors would be helpful. And although this looks like metal, it's actually nylon, and it cuts with regular old scissors. You don't need nothing fancy. So it's not metal, but it has the look of metal. So now that I know this is my length, now I get my zipper jig, and I'm going to break apart the teeth on one end that just pulls right apart. I'm going to put the pretty side down, and I'm going to guide it into these 2 holes on my zipper pull that the jig is holding for me. And you can pull it apart as much as you need to get a good grasp on either end. But what we're doing is we're feeding these 2 ends into these 2 holes here. And of course, now that I'm doing it live, it's not going to go as easy as it was when nobody's watching me. Got it too much in. Oh man, I forgot to put, I hear the garbage man outside. I forgot to put some extra stuff out. Some boxes. Okay, anyway. This side is not liking me, so let me put that side in first. Okay, there we go. So now I just pull, and it added the zipper for me. And now I can pull it, I can open it. Anyway, now the zipper pull is on there. And if something goes wrong and you didn't get it just right, pull it right off, and you can start over again. So I'm going to put it, nope, wrong side. Got to have the 2 sides up, pull my zipper tape apart, guide them in the holes, and just pull. Yeah, you see, like super easy. So that is how I add a zipper pull to zipper tape, the zipper jig. Great product. All right, once you have your pull on there, pull it all the way to one end, and that's the end you want to have on the open part of the pattern that you see stitched out. So that this is how I want my zipper to be on here. I want my zipper pull to be pulled outside of this line over here, so it's not in the way. Later on in the pattern, you're going to have a step where you have to put the zipper in the middle and tape it down. But there's a lot of stitch steps that are happening very close to the line, the zipper here. So you want this completely out of the way so your needle doesn't hit it, because this part is actually metal. The teeth are not, they're nylon. Now looking at the pattern, these 2 center lines, that is where your teeth need to be. If you are just looking at it, this line and this line are, and we can do some stuff to make it, let's see, does purple show? Let's do blue. Is it raining outside? I hear a lot of noise. Okay, this blue line, if you can see that, when you're working with a number 3 zipper, that's where the top and bottom of the tape is going to be. If you are working with a number 5 zipper, let me grab one so you can see it. Where's the pretty one I had? Oh, here it is. The number 5 zipper tape, you'll notice is a lot bigger, right? So what they say with this one is, don't worry about what I have as the blue lines, but worry about these 2 inner lines and make sure the teeth are right there. So that's a little bit trickier because you really got to make sure the teeth are lining up right where that middle guide line is. You're not going to be able to see lines on the top and bottom to fit it. So that's how you can fit either a number 5 or a number 3 zipper tape on this bag design. Okay, so now that I have my pull on my tape, I cut it the right length, I have it positioned where I want, I'm going to tape the outer edges on my stabilizer so that it stays in place. Okay. And so I think everything is done. If you want to put a piece of tape here to make sure nothing happens, you can do that too. It is okay to sew through this tape. It's very low adhesive. It won't gum up your needle, and it rips right away, like tear away when it's done. So you can tape that. Now I'm trying to remember if there was another step I needed to do before. All right. Okay, so we are going to take this back to the machine, and we're going to stitch step number 2, which is going to tack down this zipper. And switch cameras. Okay. And I gotta lower this presser foot and go. And I can see it, the little preview of this stitch, and it's almost like a long U. So it's going to start here. Oh, my tape moved. Well, it's going to go over that end, and that's why it's important that it's not metal tape and it's nylon, because the needle can just stitch right over it. Okay, that is done. And all right, so now we're going to take it off and go back to the craft table, and you can see my zipper stitched. You see where my placement moved a little bit, but it's fine. That I have my zipper is now tacked into place. I can move this if I take this piece of tape off and save it for another step, which I think I will do, because the next step, I'll leave this one here because it's holding this bit out the way. The next step was something new to me that I have not done with bags before. And it is to add a nice little, I don't even know what would be the right word to call it, like a zipper stop on both sides of the zipper. So do you see the black here and here? That is what I'm going to tape down here. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. It hides the edge of the zipper over here and here, and just gives a much nicer finished look on the bag. So what I use, you can use fabric, just fold it over if you want to use fabric. I just went ahead and used some black ribbon, and it is, I say this, I think about 2 inches. So I just kind of eyeball it, but you just need 2 pieces of this. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half. And this is your guideline as the edge of the bag. And I just have it come over however much you want. Notice, you know, like I only have it there maybe what, like a ½ inch or so past the edge of the bag. And you're going to do your folded edge going inside the bag. You want to make sure that it is wide enough to cover those 2 stitches that it just went, because that's what's going to end up going on top of it again to hold it in place. And the raw edge is going to go on the outside the bag, and that's where you're going to tape it. So it's going to look something like that. And I'm going to do it on this side too. And the first time I made this pattern, I was like, if I put this here, how am I going to, because I knew I have to move the zipper pull later. Don't worry. They made it, it's really well designed so that you are going to be able to move your zipper pull later. So I have this poking out maybe a ½ inch, the folded edge inside the bag, the raw edge outside, and I'm taping that into place. So we got these 2 little pieces here, if y'all could see that. I know black's a little bit harder to see, but like I said, you can use ribbon or fabric. You just want to make sure that it's wide enough, because like that you place it right. Because see, on this bag, my stitching caught it here, but it didn't catch it here. I tried to hot glue it, but it didn't do a very good job. So you want to make sure it's wide enough to cover where both of those stitches are going to be. And if you're really worried things are not staying in place, you could tape it on this side too. And you can just pull that tape away when you're done. All right, what is next? We are also, now before we go to the next step, we are going to go ahead and take our top portion of our bag and lay that onto place. And with that, we are laying it right where it butts up with the zipper teeth pretty much. If you want more of the black, you know, like in this case, I have this pretty one. If you want more of that to show, you can push it further away so that it shows, you know, more of the stripe more. But in this case, I'm going to put it right up to the zipper teeth. I want to make sure it overlaps here and here. And I'm going to tape that into place. When using vinyl, it's completely fine for this to be a raw edge on butting up to your zipper teeth. What I learned when using fabric, and like when I did the fabric and flexi foam and I did the fabric and batting, is that I actually folded over my fabric so that I did not have a raw edge here. And when I finally finished that little 4x4 zipper bag I showed y'all, you'll see it because I did it right on there. I didn't do it on this one. Okay, so we have our little stop pieces covering up the ends of our zippers taped into place, and we have our top piece of vinyl taped into place. And now we're gonna go stitch step 3, and that's gonna tack this down, and it's gonna give us a spot where to put our spider. So we need to get our spider ready. There we go. So I got that loaded. That's gonna go down and start. And I need to find my stiletto, but I'm just going to use my marker here to make sure everything stays where it's supposed to. It's actually going to stop. Oh, something's not right. Maybe it is. Okay. I hear it sounds funny. It sounded like it was skipping when I was right here, but now it's good. It's good. All right, so that is tacking my top piece into place. And it's tacking this end of the zipper stop. It didn't tack down this end, which is what makes it good because we need that to be able to move the zipper pull later. All right, so it just did a couple stitches right here. We're not really going to be able to see it because it's black on black in my case, but that's going to show me right where to put my spider. And for some reason, it doesn't cut this jump stitch. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but I'll put a mark right, oops, pin. Right here is where it's stitched a little placement to show us where to put our spider. So we have to get this somewhat done now. So let me take this spider and I'm just going to take all this tape off. And the first time I did this project, it took me a long time. I promise it does, like, once I did it a couple more times, it went a lot faster. So like if you want to make one as a run through with like some material, you know, not your favorite materials, you can do that. And then the next time you run through and like, okay, you got a handle on it now, use your pretty stuff you've been saving, and it goes faster. The one thing about this is you want to make sure you don't cut your ribbon off. So what I'm going to do is I'm holding the front of my vinyl up as I go around that piece. And I'm going to cut here as well. And then on the back, I can do the same thing, but I could put the cutaway. You have the cutaway protecting it on this side. But I want to make sure I don't cut my ribbon. So you can pull it over and tape it if you want. But what you want to do now is, to save time, I'm just going to rough cut this spider. I'm not going to try to go in between its legs and everything like I did with my first one. I can do that later. So now I'm cutting through both pieces of vinyl and the cutaway stabilizer. And that's going to give you your little 3D spider effect that you're going to add to your bag. And again, you just want to be careful that you don't cut your ribbon. Okay, so pretend that's all cut out and pretty. But now I have a spider with a finished front and back with a ribbon. And I have a spot of where I want this to be. And first, what you want to do is figure out where you want this to end up hanging on your bag. So this is totally personal preference. You could have it hanging, you know, not high at all. I kind of had mine in the middle. You can have it to where the legs are touching the bottom. You can have it to where it's going past the bag. That's going to depend on your ribbon length and where you tack it down. I like the look of it kind of being in the middle of the bag. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time, and I'm going to have it right here. But you actually want this to be turned like this. So back side of the spider pointing up, ribbon going over your placement mark. If I did this, now I could see where my spider is going to end up hanging. And my bag is going to come almost to it has, you know, this curved effect, but this is the bottom of the bag. So if I wanted it more like right there, and then I'm going to push this up and I'm going to tape this here, and I'm going to tape my spider to where it stays out of the way up here. All right, so does that make sense for everyone? We got that. Now let me double check what the next step is. Okay, so step number 4 is just going to be tacking this down. So that is our next step. I can see that little bitty on my display over here. All I see, oops, you can't see. My little screen here shows me what the preview of the next step is, and that's all it is. It's just that one little stitching happening to get that to get tacked down. So we're going to do that. That's going to hold that into place. And then the next step after that is going to be adding the front and then the pretty spiderweb design, which takes the longest as far as stitching goes. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. So now that has been tacked down, and we're going to add the front portion of the bag. So what we can do is remove this tape. We could trim this. That's going to end up going in the inner, between the lining and the outside, so it's not going to get seen. And we are going, let me see, I think I can rip this now. I don't need that anymore. Okay. And we're going to take the bottom portion of the bag, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to butt it right up to the teeth. And I can tape that into place. Ooh, I'm second guessing now. I was going to do my web in black, but it would be pretty in gold. Let's do gold. What do y'all think? Should I do my web design with a black thread? So like this design here. Should we do it in black? Or I have some goldy red colors. Let's see. I have this gold thread color. I think I don't know if it would show up as good. It would be less, it would be more subtle. It wouldn't be as distinct with the black, but you know, purple and gold just go together in my opinion. So let me know what y'all think. I see Lisa says gold, Anne says gold. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. All right. Gold metallic. I have gold metallic, but I don't know where it is. I had a time I went on a hunt for, I need to clean up my craft room. I couldn't find my variegated thread this morning. I wanted to use variegated thread, which came out cute, and I will show you. But I really don't know where my metallic thread is. It's not on my thread rack where it's supposed to be. So, okay. All right. Few people say gold, but black will show up better. Yes. All right. I'll try this gold. Let's see how it goes. Doesn't hurt to play around with things. All right. So the next step is actually just going to be to tack this down here. And I'm going to do black thread for that because I did it on this side. I'll do it on this side too. And then the step after that will be the web, and I'll change it to gold. Okay. Machine. Okay. Hope all this stays where it's supposed to. Hold that down. All right, so that is putting that in place the whole time. You're still having your spider taped up there out of the way. And we're going to keep them taped up there out of the way when we do the design of the spider web too. All right, cut this. All right, taking my black thread off and adding gold. It is a nice thick bean stitch, so I think it will still show up nice, but it won't be as contrasting as the black for sure, but I think it's still going to look nice. All right, I'm going to have to thread my needle. Okay, that is done. Lower the presser foot, and it's going to stitch the web design now. And that takes a while. Like, that's the longest part of the design. So while that's stitching, let's see how it looks. Oh, it looks good. Hey, I don't know if you could see, they got a tail right there. Let me pause it and trim that and go. Okay. Oh yeah, silver would also be nice. I think it would be pretty if we did the black material and a metallic silver for the web. That would also be super pretty. All right, so that is stitching. And the other, okay, I was going to do this fabric for the lining on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my 3 pieces that I need while the web design is stitching. And then I'm going to clean up my craft table a little bit because it's a hot mess. But while I am paying attention, if you have any questions, it doesn't necessarily have to be about this project. It could just be questions about embroidery or crafting in general. Feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat or the comment section now, and we could talk about some stuff while I'm cutting out fabric. That sounds good to y'all. Okay, I need 9 1/4 is my width. Let's see. So many options thinking about fall and Christmas. So their website, the String Theory Fabric Art, they have, let's see, hold on, I have to think for a second. They have some really fun bags. I would say a lot of them are very much Halloween themed, but they also have like tons of like movie themed stuff or like certain particular hobbies. I did not go and see if they had some fun Christmas options yet, but that will definitely be something that we can check out and look at for other gift options. But they have lots of fun stuff. All right, I need 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 2 is 15 and a half. I need 15 and a half. Sorry, I'm talking to myself while I'm adding. All right, let's see. Constrella asks, how much is my essential class? So I have it on sale for the next week is going to be for $97. And that includes, I think it's over 50 video lessons. And I have some bonuses thrown in there as well. And a private Facebook group for all of the students to ask questions. And then I plan on, I haven't announced it, but depending on, I have a place where you could submit questions, like a form as you go through the course and the program. And I have a form where you could submit questions. And then once we have so many questions submitted, I will probably do some Facebook Lives in the private Facebook group for students and answer questions. We will do that every once in a while. I did it every couple weeks for my founding students. So they do have, I think, 5 replays, like recorded Q&A sessions in the course portal where you can rewatch some of the old Q&A sessions that we had. And they have some really good questions people ask. And we went over lots of topics, and even, straight off a little bit with like things other than essentials. We talked a little bit about Thumbnailer and Alpha Tricks and the other programs, but really good discussions in the live Q&A sessions. And so you'll get access to the recording of those. And then if watching one of those, spurs a new question, you can submit that question on the questionnaire form, and then we could discuss it the next time we have a live Q&A. See how to change it up from purse to a grandson carrier. Okay, so we haven't gotten to the part where we add the hardware yet. That is going to be, I think, after we add the liner. But when I get to that part, I'm going to tell you all your options of ways that you can do different combination of straps and hardware to even make it, just clip and hang from another bag, make it a crossbody bag. They don't have it as an option to make like as a fanny pack or like across your chest bag, like my girls like to wear, but I think I could do it by just moving the hardware into different spots. So we can talk about that once we get to that part. Did I use batting for the stiffener? Let's see, I did on this one. No, I did not use any batting. I just used the faux leather, which is a thicker material, but just not as stiff as my normal faux leather. So this bag will be a bit softer than my first black one that I made. What time will it be, and will I be able to review the classes when I get off of work? So, Contrilla, all of the classes are already recorded, and you have access to everything immediately after you buy, and you can log in and watch them whenever you want. So it's all at your convenience. It's a self-paced course so that you can go through the lessons. You can go back and review lessons later. It's all made to, go with your schedule and when is good for you. So you'll be able to watch them whenever you want. And then if we do a live Q&A session, I also record those and I put the replay in the course portal. So if you didn't make the live Q&A, you can still go back and listen to it and hear your question that you submitted ahead of time get answered. And so you still get, answers to your questions. So that's a really nice thing about it. All right. Let's see. Patty says, I like the bazooka bag that String Theory has. It's perfect for a friend of mine that loves bazooka gum. That is a great idea. I think Elise would like that too. She has a gum problem, definitely. And she puts like 15 pieces in her mouth at a time. All right, 6 1/4. And then hopefully I did my math right. And this last piece will be 7 1/4. Yes, close enough. All right, I'm done. Oh, I love the gold. It's pretty. Very pretty. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras real quick to show y'all what I've been doing while that's stitching. I was cutting, close that up. All right, I was cutting the lining pieces. So we have, just like the front, we have 3, the purple vinyl, we have 3 pieces. We have the top inner, the bottom inner, and that's where the zipper is, and then the back. Now, with the top and bottom inner, there's one step that you need to do, and that is to help create a not raw edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over 1/4 inch or so and iron it down so that we have a nice folded edge. So I have my little mini iron. And I'm gonna iron that down. Okay, and then same thing with the top. I'm gonna fold it over and iron that down. So I think I need to change the batteries on the microphone. Okay, so that is ironed. You don't have to do anything for the back lining piece, just what's going to be the front. Because what's going to happen is we're going to lay this on the back of the hoop, and we want it to, when we open the bag, where's my bag? When we open the bag, that's not a raw edge of piece of fabric right there, so that's where it's folded over, and then it's going to get tacked into place. Okay, that's why we have that done. Okay, our This is my back piece of bag. This is my back piece of lining. So I'm just going to have those there. And now our web is done. Take it off the hoop. I love it. Love it. I should have did my spider in gold. I probably would have looked better. But I have the gold spider web on my purple metallic-y bag. And now that the web is stitched, one step that we want to do is turn the hoop over. And because this is cutaway stabilizer, we need to make a cut on the back so that when we're done with our bag, we will be able to get the zipper open. Okay, so I'm just trimming some of these tails here. But if you look at the bag, you see this bolder line here and this bolder black line here. We pretty much want to cut right on the inside of that. So you're going to end up cutting out these two stitch lines that you can barely see. So I'm going to go in between these two. I'm going to go closer to this bolder line, and I'm going to cut this out without cutting through my zipper tape. So I'm going to take my favorite scissors, my little tweezer ones, and I know my bolder line doesn't go all the way here, but I'm still cutting that area. And I'm going to poke my pointy scissors through my stabilizer and do a little snip and make sure I'm not cutting. There's my zipper tape. I could see it on the other side there. And I'm carefully going to cut this stabilizer out so that I can create a hole for my zipper. Now, I've made bags in the past where I used tearaway stabilizer, and then you didn't have to worry about this step. This web is a lot of stitching, so I think that's why they recommended that we used cutaway versus tearaway, but maybe you can use 2 pieces of tearaway, so you can play around with it. If this part is super tedious and hard for you, try using tearaway stabilizer instead. Okay, and there we go. I try to get it as close to here as I can because I don't want any stabilizer showing on when I put my liner in. I want it to be pulled away. So like on this one. So this is what it ends up looking like. And I didn't want stabilizer showing in between here and here. So I'm going to put my folded edge pretty much right up to my zipper teeth. And so that you have this here, or you can put your folded edge to where it's going to go right on top of this. That's up to you, but that's why we're doing that. And now we can turn it back. No, we're going to leave it like this. Yeah. So keep it upside down. And now we're going to cover up all of this embroidery with our lining. And we're going to do your pretty side of your lining up with your folded over edge at the top. And we're going to cover up right past that spot where we cut the stabilizer out. And where this bold black line is, that's where it's going to stitch. So you can have it like right above that. And it's going to tack it down there. So you're going to want to tape this into place. And again, remember to be gentle with your tape until you turn it back around so that you don't pop your hoop out on accident. Put that there. And I've used all my tape that I placed around my table. I gotta get a fresh piece. All right, so now I'm gonna do this and rub where my tape is. And we still want to keep the spider out of the way. And what's going to happen is it's going to stitch right back on top of this black line, and that's going to tack our liner down. You want to make sure that your liner is, when you turn it over, it's not falling off, right? It's staying into place, because you're going to put it on your machine like this. And this is, you know, some really flimsy fabric. So you got to make sure it's going to stay nice and smooth and taut so it can stitch that line. Okay. And I am going to go back to my black thread because I already have this top line in black, and I'm stitching right on top of it again. And so I'm gonna, when I load this on, I want to make sure the fabric I put on the bottom is staying right where it's supposed to. Okay, and I want to make sure I move my spider out the way. And I'm changing my thread. All right, I'm looking at the comments. So Jody says, I have accidentally cut into my zipper. I'm sure we all have cut into things that we were not supposed to in the past, Jody. So do not feel alone in that. It happens to all of us. I have cut a hole in my shirt before when because that's almost the same technique as, say you're doing an applique letter, and like you have a letter B and you got to cut the hole out in the B. It's the same thing. You're trying to cut the applique fabric without cutting a hole in your shirt. It's pretty much the same thing. So I feel you on that. All right, I got my black thread loaded. My fabric is where it's supposed to be. Okay, we're going to stitch that one line across. That's tacking our liner into place. See, it keeps doing this jumping thing. I think it's a bit thick in some spots. Okay, that is done. And then the next step is attaching the top bit of liner. So we're going to take this off. Let's pray that came out how it's supposed to. Yep. I just don't have the best luck with the stitching on the underneath. This is these nests I was telling you about. Maybe if I did my pull through trick, but this is where it jumped right here. So it just the machine itself messed up. I don't always have the best luck with getting the stitch line to look good on any of the bags I made. So if you have a tip for me on how to make this better, please tell me. But we have our bottom liner. Now we got to go put the top liner in place. Okay, so I have my bag. I'm going to fold it over. Actually, my piece of tape came off. I'm going to put a new piece. Okay, here's my top liner piece. So we're going to put it with the folded side down. And I'm going to put it right past that bold line where it's going to stitch down, and tape that all into place. This piece of tape came off, so I'm going to add that back. Okay, so that's all where it should be. So that's the inside of our bag, outside of our bag. But now it's going to stitch a line at the top. So I actually want to move my spider and pull him down and tape him into place. And we're going to go over this black line here. So I want that to be pulled out of the way. So we'll go back to the machine, and it's going to stitch a line right here. Okay, just making sure My fabric is staying where it's supposed to. Okay, and go. All right, let's see. Lisa says, see, I had the same trouble even on my other machine. I think it's just thick, and I put a new needle and everything. All right, so my thread broke. I'm gonna take this off, and oh, I should have cut. Normally when this happens, I click the scissor button before I take my hoop off to cut the bobbin thread. Okay. All right, all that cut. And I don't know where my thread is, but I'm gonna try to unthread it by pulling, not pulling backwards. There we go. Let's thread it again. Rethread my needle. I'm gonna go ahead and rethread my bobbin too, just in case. Make sure there's no debris or anything in there. I don't see anything. Okay. And run this through the bobbin path, and I'm gonna pull a good bit out. Make sure the tension's set before I cut it. Okay. And I'm looking at the back of my hoop, and I'm just going to trim those threads where it messed up. And everything's ready for my hoop to go back on. So make sure my fabric is where it's supposed to be. Okay, and now I want to back up stitches. So I'm going to hit the needle plus minus button. And I'm going to backed up about 30 or 40 stitches, but it's really just eyeballing where you think the thread broke, and you want to go past that point so you have some overlapping stitches happening to lock them in. You can even start the whole step over again as well. Okay, that is working better. Okay, Lisa had a question, and that caught me off guard. Okay, is the purple vinyl glitter vinyl? Where did you get that from? So it is a metallic vinyl, and I can't remember if I got it from Sweet and Sassy Blanks or Glitter Bug Fairy. I'm pretty sure it's from Sweet and Sassy Blanks. I have a link to both of those stores in the description box down below. It's some of my favorite places to get vinyl, but it is a metallic vinyl. It's not glitter. It's not clear or jelly. It's a metallic kind. All right, so now my top lining is tacked into place. Again, you see, I don't have the best luck with getting good looking stitches here. All right, so the next step is we have to move our zipper. Let me change the camera. Okay, so back at the craft table, we have tacked on the top and bottom of the front liner, and we have a hole for our zipper to come in. I probably put this fabric a little bit too low. I probably should have came up a little bit higher. But this part of the liner is done. And that also means that we are done stitching right here super close to the zipper. So now is when we can move that zipper. And the rest of the stitching is going to be going around the outside of the bag. So I'm going to have to remove some tape. So that is why this line didn't go all the way to the end, because it allows me to pull this up. Here's my little pretty piece of ribbon that I have to cover the edge of my ribbon. I can pull that up. And I could take my zipper and pull it open. And you can either put it in the middle. I like to put it more to this end because it's going to be helpful when you're ready to turn the bag right side out, that you have a large opening happening. So I pull it over here, not all the way to the end, but towards it. And then you want to tape that zipper pull into place so it doesn't move and accidentally get in the way up here. Now you want to lay all this back down. So I'm going to lay back down my ribbon that I have to cover the end of my zipper, and I'm going to lay the top piece down. And now what's going to happen is it's going to go and finish this stitching on this end of the zipper right here. Now, as I'm playing with this, my lining is becoming untaped. So you want to pay attention to that. So even though it's tacked down, it's only tacked down up here. It's not tacked down here. So make sure it really is secure and not going to shift on you while you're stitching. Okay, so now the next step is just this piece here, but also it's going to put placement markers for 3 options of hardware. So let's go back to the machine and see that bit. So I'm going to put this back on, make sure my lining stays where it's supposed to. I got my zipper pull taped down. I got my spider taped down. I'm still using black thread because I'm finishing off this line here. So I want the thread to match. I got to put that down. Okay. So now it's going to stitch that little finished piece on top of the zipper, tacking both the outside of the bag and the lining of the bag completely down now. And my little pretty zipper stop ribbon. And now it's going to do just some simple little running stitches marking where you can put hardware. And they have options to put hardware on the side of the bag here, or on the top of the bag to mark where you would put these D-rings here and here. So I did all 3 on this bag. And you can do whatever you like for your bag. And while they have really nice setup for your hardware to go in these 3 spots, I also think there are options to add a hardware in different spots, even though the design is not set up that way. So let's go back to the craft table. So these are the placement marks it put here, here, and here. If I wanted to wear this bag as kind of like a fanny pack or going across my chest bag, a belt bag, I think they call it, I wouldn't necessarily want my hardware to be here. I think I would want to have coming out of either side. So let's play around with it. Let's try it with this bag. So basically right here, I have it marking exactly where it should be. So like if I did it, I would have a D-ring coming out here and a D-ring coming out here. And then I can make a strap or buy a strap that wraps around my waist or around my shoulder, so that I can wear it across my body or as a belt bag, by having hardware here and here. You could also put hardware here and maybe hardware here. So then it actually goes more diagonal, especially if you're wearing it across your chest. But like I said, it's only marking these 3 spots. So you have to figure out if you want to put hardware in a different spot, that's kind of depending on you to figure it out. But it's going to get tacked in because you can just see, even though it doesn't have the full outline here, you can see wherever the spider web ends, that's where the bag is going to, there's going to be a final stitch. So you could put hardware anywhere and it's going to get locked in. It's just they've made it really easy for these 3 spots. So just for fun, I cannot get that. There we go. I'm going to put hardware here and here, even though there's not a spot for it there. And we're going to see if I can turn this into more of a belt bag. And then I have a feeling Elise is going to steal it from me after she sees it. Oh, this will be fun to wear, like walk around when we're trick-or-treating, just to keep my phone and my keys in while we're walking around the neighborhood. So that's some cute things you can do with this. All right, I'm going to remove, I don't need all these pieces of tape anymore, so I'm going to take them so I could use them for my other pieces. All right. And we're going to add, so I have a line here, and what I did to add my hardware was I used the same ribbon that I did for my zipper ends, and I put what's called a D-ring inside of it. So if you're new to bags and bag hardware, they have lots of fun things you can get. This is my little collection, but there's still a lot more things I want to get. But these are D-rings. And I put a link to Amazon that has like all of this stuff on there. There's so many places you can get it from. But the easiest place is probably Amazon. But if I find some other direct links, I'll put them for you. This is what a D-ring looks like. See, it looks like a capital D. They come in multiple sizes. This one is an inch. From the outer part of here to the outer part of here is 1 inch. What you want is you want to buy a D-ring that is the width of your ribbon, or you want to make your fabric where it fits the width of the inside the D-ring. Or if you're using webbing, like nylon webbing, you want it to match. So they sell this, you know, as little as 1/2 inch and as big as like 2 and 3 inches if you get big wide straps. If you look at my strap that I bought already made, it doesn't have a D-ring on it. No, it has just, it has a ring here, and you can see they have a little bit of webbing coming out here to attach to it. And then this is called a lobster clasp, and I have those too. So this one has a D-ring on the end and a lobster clasp here. So I could put that coming out of my bag as well. So it's up to you on what you want. If you want to put a D-ring, if you want to put something that has a ring with a lobster clasp, you can even just put a simple keychain ring here. And so then you can attach anything to it. So like this has the clasp, I could connect anything with a lobster clasp to the end of this. So lots of options for you. I don't have any other bags up here, but they have other types of hardware specific for making straps and like adjustable straps. That's not on here, so I don't have it to show you, but I probably have some in my closet. I just can't get to it right now. But just look around and figure out what you want on your bag. Look at examples of other bags and see what kind of hardware is on there, so that it'll help you understand and pick what you want for your bag. I'm going to do 2 gold D-rings on this bag. And then what I'll probably end up doing is making a strap with these on the end of the strap, and they'll connect to the D-rings on my bag. Okay. So that's your quick lesson on hardware. So this is what I'm using on the bag itself. And I will use this ribbon. If I had something a little stronger, it'd probably be better. You can also just fold over some pieces of black material. That would be strong as well. But you want to make sure that you're going to do the same kind of technique as we did for the ends. You're going to cut a piece and fold it over. And before you tape it on there, you're going to put your D-ring inside of it like this and like this. So this is what you end up with. And you want it to where the hardware is going to the inside of the bag and the raw edge of your ribbon material is going to the outside of the bag. And in this case, I have a line showing right where I want to put it. So I can do that and I can tape it into place. Now, over here, I don't have a line, so I'm just going to eyeball it and I'm going to tape this bit down too. On this side, I'm just going to eyeball it. Also, I think the next step of stitching is where it's going to go and put a stitch here. So it's not going to put anything here. So on this side, it's just going to be the outside of the bag that when it does all the other steps is going to secure this one into place. But I know that line is going to come here. This looks about even with my other one. So again, this is, I have to eyeball this. There's no way I can get this probably exactly in the other position of the other one. So something like that. All right, if you want to add hardware up here, you can. You want to do the same process that I did here up here. You could do all three. Like I said, you could play around with trying to put it in some other spots. It's just that step number 10, or as far as the design go, is only going to go and tack down these 3 spots. Okay. And again, I want to make sure my lining is staying where it's supposed to before I slide this back on the machine. Okay, so it's just going to go tack down those 3 spots. If I wanted, I could even skip that. Let me raise my presser foot. I'm going to do the needle plus minus, and I'm going to jump ahead 10 stitches. I'm not putting anything there. Okay, so I found the first stitch of this step here. So I'm going to lower my presser foot and stitch just that bit. All right, so that just kind of reinforces that into place. I still think it's going to work on the other side too, because there's several stitches that go along the outside of the bag. Okay, so the next step is now goes around the whole outside the bag, and that's really going to get this part in. Okay, making sure that's staying where it's supposed to. I see, oh, tape keeps coming off the back of my hoop and sticking to my bed. So that's why you just got to keep checking and making sure that lining is staying where it's supposed to. All right. So it reinforced this one. This one, we're going to just kind of make it happen on our own. The next step, it's going to do the outline of the whole bag. And this is where you want to take what is end up going to be the back of your bag, outer exterior back, and take that and put it pretty side down. And you're going to put it on there like this. And now it's going to stitch all of this and attach the exterior back of your bag into place. And in the process now, it's going to really tack down my little hardware piece that I put right there. Or, you know, if you put them anywhere else on the bag, now it's going to hold it into place. You can tape this down. This would probably stay without tape, but never can be too sure. And this is coming off, so I'm going to put a new piece just to make sure that stays. Rub it on this side And now let's go back to the machine. One thing with this is you probably, whatever you use to stitch these last 2 steps, you want to probably match your fabric color, because you're gonna pull your bag right side open, and you may see, like I could see very, very faintly some of the black stitches in between here. So I have purple. Let me see. I probably don't have a purple that is close to this. So I can use black, or I could try and find, let's see, this works. So I have this purple. So I'm gonna change my thread color to this purple, just so that if, you know, when the bag really gets pulled apart, those stitches are not so obvious. But you're not supposed to see these stitches. So you should be able to use whatever you want, but I like to be a little extra. Okay. And press your foot down. And this is going to stitch the whole outline of the bag. I got to push that all the way in. Good. And go. All right, let me check the comments. Sorry, I had that comment up the whole time. Now, how do you usually save whatever you cut into? Jenny, is this in reference to, like, oh, I told you I cut a hole in my shirt, or we cut a hole in the zipper? How can you save something that happens like that? In the past, I have gotten, like, if it was a white t-shirt and I cut a hole in it on accident, like a teeny tiny hole, I would use something like Heat and Bond Light and put on a little scrap piece of t-shirt material and try to kind of fill that hole. They also have something called bone ash powder that I know Angela at All Stitched Up by Angela loves and recommends, and I bought some, but I haven't played with it yet. But it's supposed to be an adhesive powder for situations like that. But yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you just kind of patch over it, or you know, use another piece of fabric to try to cover up whatever hole you make. Let's see. Patty says, I've had this happen to me too. I think it can't be avoided. If anyone knows how to keep the threads from doing this nesting, I would like to know too. Yeah, I had the same trouble on my Stellaire. So I think, and I put a brand new needle. I cleaned out my bobbin case. I cleaned out my upper thread path. Like, I did all my troubleshooting things. And I still had problems with certain spots of the design. And I think it's really due to it being so thick, maybe in that area, but so many layers. I don't know if using a stronger, a bigger needle would possibly help. I don't know. But we are done with stitching the back side of the bag. Now we're going to stitch, the final step is the lining, the back side of the lining. So let's go back to the machine, the craft table. And I'm going to put so this is the front of my hoop. This is the back of my hoop. So I'm going to turn that over. And I'm going to take my lining piece, and I'm covering up, you know, I could see the whole outline there. So I'm covering that up, and I'm putting it pretty side down. And really taping and making sure this stays in place. On my luck, it's the last step that I always mess up on, so I'm really making sure this is taped down. Okay, taped. Now, when it stitches this, it's going to leave a hole here. So it's going to stitch this part of the bag and leave a hole from here to here. And that's going to be how we're going to turn the bag right side out. So back to the machine. So here's the front. Let me turn it the right way. Front, back. I have the lining taped pretty side down. It's covering the whole back of the bag. Put that down, this down, and it's going to do that outline again, but this time it's leaving a hole at the top. Oh, Crystal likes my box. So that is, they're almost like tackle boxes. They sell them like at Hobby Lobby and Walmart now, but that's essentially what they are. They're tackle boxes. You can even get them at the Dollar Tree. This is the one that's at the Dollar Tree. It's little, and it has, you know, different sized little compartments. You'll find them in like the jewelry section, maybe in the craft store, so that, you know, people use it for jewels and beads and stuff like that. I use it for all of my snaps. I do a lot of cam snaps and bag hardware and key fobs and all my little pieces for my snap press. That's what I use them for. I love it. All right, we are done stitching. Now, the machine will tell you there is one more step. You do not want to stitch this step. The whole purpose of this step being here, no matter which size pattern you're making of the zippered bag, is to prevent, normally when a machine is done stitching, the presser foot ends up going right back to the middle of the bag, the middle of the hoop. And we have all kinds of stuff taped on the inside. And what can happen is, especially if the presser foot is down and moving to the center, it's going to hit all of that, like the zipper pull I could feel right here, my D-ring hardware, my spider. It might hit all of that and drag and pull it up and mess things up. So you're going to notice pretty much with any in the hoop bag that involves a zipper or hardware, there's always a step at the end that you just don't stitch. And all that's doing is keeping your presser foot out of the way so that you can take your hoop off the machine and nothing get messed up. So don't worry about stitching that last step. You actually are supposed to skip it. In this case, it's step number 13. It's just a placeholder. It's just to keep your presser foot up and out of the way and not drag across the center of your project. All right. So we are all done stitching. Ooh, this is a long class. Sorry. I knew it was going to take a while, but it's really taking a while. So all I'm going to do is trim some of these tails here. Really doesn't matter that we're going to trim the whole thing out. And you can remove tape. Say if you're going to make more than one bag, you know, save this tape for the next bag. I just removing some of it. And you are going to take this whole thing out of the hoop. So we're done stitching. So you can remove it from the hoop now. So you can either, sometimes I have tape like actually taped to my hoop. So I tend to remove the tape. Like these pieces here, they're all like on the hoop itself. So I remove the tape before I unhoop, because I usually have issues with something getting stuck. Okay, now you can take the whole thing out. Selah, there's another piece of tape to the hoop. Let me get that out of my way. And this is what we're left with. And one thing I want you to pay attention to is your opening. This is going to allow you to turn the bag right side out. What I'm going to do is cut it at an angle here and here. And I'm going to take that flap. I'm going to do this one too. Okay, and so we have this flap. That is how we're going to get inside of our bag. I'm going to fold that down and tape it out the way. All right, now I'm going to cut right outside of this stitch line going all the way around the bag. And you're going to want a good pair of scissors for this because you are going to be cutting through several layers. And you can either, like this is what was the back of the hoop. You could do this side or you could do this side. Because I don't want to make sure I don't mess up my little flap, I'm going to cut on this side. And you can cut like a 1/4 inch or more away from the stitch line. Just remember it's going to be bulky when you're turning it out. And you do want to make sure you cut any corners so that when you turn it out right there, it's not too bulky in that corner. So all these little points I cut close, and then I'm cutting around them. Just close at the point part. I never could get any of my bags to actually turn out at those points as nicely as what the picture is on the string theory website example. So, but maybe if you press them, but I mean, usually faux leather does not like heat. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Okay. Also, the bigger the bag, the easier. I didn't have any trouble turning out the 5x7 bag. That's the smallest one that's this shape. The 4x4 bag is a square. So it doesn't have all that curve in it like these bags do. Okay, so there's all my trash. Get that out the way. And now we're going to use our hole that we left in that last step. And we're going to turn the bag right side out. Depending on the material you use to make your bag, like if you use a really thick marine vinyl, it may be very hard to turn. And that's when tools like a pair of hemostats, or I have this bag turning tool, will help you. The hemostats help with like pulling it out. Like my husband's a nurse, so we always have some kind of hemostats in the house. But you can, I think you can buy them at the store, and that helps you like go in and grab and pull it out if it's too hard. So now we have the lining showing, and this is why we wanted our zipper to be open as much as we could, because now we're going to take this and turn it out. And so this is our bag with our stuff on it. And you can take, we got that hardware, we got our zipper. That all needs to come off. Ooh, let me put something in now that I'm thinking about it so it can warm up. Okay. Okay, so you get that tape out and you're gonna fold the bag in right here, and you're gonna kind of finger press it to get this seam to fold over like it should. And you're gonna use your finger, or you can use a tool to kind of poke out this corner right here. And then same thing with this side. All right. And then you're left with that hole in your liner, but we're going to fix that. Oh, I didn't do a good job here. This didn't get taken in. Okay, I have to fix that. All right. So what you should have is something that looks like this when you're done. And like I said, you want to try and roll those seams out. And you can use your tool to try and get these points out more. Like I said, I never had good luck with getting even my fabric bag to like point out nicely on these ends, but it still looks super cute. But this is what you're left with. Now, to fix the inside, I had a boo-boo because it looks like when I put my inner lining fabric in, this stitch did not catch where I had it all folded over nice and pressed. I had my fabric too close to here, so it didn't catch that. So what I will probably end up doing is trimming this and making it smaller, and probably using fabric glue or hot glue to get that where it's supposed to be. So yours is not supposed to look like that. Yours should just be nice like that. What yours is looking like is this, with this hole. And now what you want to do is take it and fold it in. You have those little flaps you made. Fold them in like so. And you can use, they have lots of options. They have fabric glue. They have stick and peel fabric tape. They have iron-on hem tape, or hot glue to close up this seam that your lining had. So typically I've had bags where the hole is actually at the bottom of the lining, but in this bag, the lining doesn't move. You can't pull it out the bottom, which is nice, so that it like stays all in place. So that means that the hole for turning it out is up here at the top. So I have my hot glue gun. Let's see if it's warmed up enough. And what I do is, I get it all folded like I want. And then I'll just pull it down and put pieces of glue and then press it. And I'm trying to hide probably that stitch line right there is what I've been going over every time I do it, the stitch line. But I've also used the fabric tape, the iron-on hem tape. I've used all of those before with closing projects like this, where you have an open lining that you have to close when the project's done. And then I'll have to go and fix my little mess up there with that top lining. But this is what our final bag looks like. And now I can go make a strap so that I could wear this around, wait, wrong one, this one. So like I could wear this around my chest like this and have a strap going over my shoulder and then under here and connecting, or I could wear it as a fanny pack around my waist as well. So I think this is a cute addition that you can have with the other hardware options of a wristlet or a full crossbody with the hardware at the top. So lots of fun things that you could do. But I think like because you have that last few stitching that goes all around the bottom, you really could put your hardware wherever you want, even though it didn't have the marks for it. You just have to make sure you have it securely to where it's going to overlap the stitch line and it's going to get gone over a few times. So it will be nice and secure and won't pull out. All right, let's see. Let me check the comments. So I don't have any straps. I need to play around with making straps, so I haven't made any yet. That beaded one that I have is one that I purchased from Kirkland's, and I have the link for it down below, Lisa. But thanks so much, guys. I'm glad y'all like it. I wanted to show you too. I never got to finish. Let's cut out, if you're not busy and you want to stick around for a couple more minutes, let's cut out the 4x4 bag. Wait, let me switch the camera. Okay, so earlier this morning, I did the 4x4 option, and that's just like a little square zippered bag, and I used fabric and quilt batting. So my project is done. So same thing, I have the lining, and it's going to have a flap. So I'm going to cut my flap and tape that down, and now I'm going to cut all around the edges just like I did with the bigger bag. And see, and then we'll turn this one out so you can see. So this one I used variegated thread, so y'all can see how fun that is, because I was thinking the spider web should show up pretty nice with variegated thread. So here's my lining. So usually the smaller bags are harder to get them to pull through, and this is probably when hemostats are helpful. Okay, here we go. So we got the lining side out, and now we have the zipper. Yeah, the bigger the bag, definitely the easier. But y'all can see I had a purple, it was like almost an ombre thread that went from darker purple to lighter purple to white. So this is what the little 4x4 bag looks like. It's going to take some work to get it to be where the corners are all out how they should be. But this was done with regular fabric and quilt batting to give it a little bit more structure than doing the fabric by itself. And if you did one of these with the marine vinyl, it's definitely going to be hard to turn out. So, and this I can press with an iron too to try and get it all nice. But this is a little teeny tiny spiderweb bag, but with variegated thread, so you can see the changes in it. And this was the thread I used, and I got it from Amazon. I bought a set, where is it at, of the variegated thread a while back. They always go on sale for Prime Day. It's the new Bro thread, and it came with all different colors, and this one I thought would look good on the black. So that's the 4x4 bag. So 4x4, 5x7, 6x10, and I haven't made anything larger than that, but it does also come with 7x11 and 8x12 as well if you have a really large purse. So what would be cute as well is you can, I didn't put any hardware on this one. I could have put a little D-ring coming out of here with a lobster clasp, and then I could have hooked it on here so that this would have been like a 2-part bag. So that's something that you can do, or you can just have it as a coin purse and have it inside the bag. But you could add hardware even on the outside of this little bitty bag as well, and it can clip to another bag and be like an addition to it. So that's something fun as well. All right, so let me see. So let me know if you enjoyed today's project, if you have any questions. I know it's super long. If you just watched today and you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna sit down and make this. This is all recorded and on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page all the time. So you can come back and watch the replay of it, and you could fast forward to the parts you really want to know, because I know that's what I do with videos. I'm like, I need to know something and I'm going to fast forward until I get to that part. So if you're coming back to stitch it out, you can get right to the parts of me stitching it out. So let's see. Jill says she uses Bro Thread too all the time. No issues with fraying stitches, and it stitches nicely. Yeah, I have a few of the Bro Thread products, and they've all worked great for me. I do want to try out their metallic thread. I've heard Kingstar is the king of metallic thread. It's made by Dime. I would like to do a comparison to see Kingstar against New Bro Thread, because metallic thread, that's where thread gets very finicky. But yay, I'm glad y'all liked it. Good, good, good. So a couple of reminders. If you are in my VIP membership group or you want to join, our next class is next Tuesday, September 24th. And we're going to be doing a fun quilting in the hoop project to make a fall themed pillow or table topper. That's our project for both September and October. We'll be putting that together. If you want to learn more on how to use Embroidery Essentials software, like I didn't use it today in today's project. I find in the hoop projects, especially, ones like this, I don't have any personalization or anything I want to change about the design, so I didn't use Embroidery. But almost every other embroidery project that I make, I use at least Embroidery Essentials to do some kind of personalization to it. I also use it, even though I didn't show in the video, when I bought this design, I opened it up in Embroidery so that I could see each step of the design. That's something I always like to do. I like to investigate embroidery designs after I buy them, and click with the program, I can see each step of the design and be like, okay, well, this is an applique design. I could tell because I got the same 3 stitches, step 1, step 2, and step 3. And I'm like, okay, that has to be an applique. That must be the placement, the tack down, and the finishing stitch for it. So I like to always look over designs in Embroidery Essentials before I stitch them out, even if I'm not editing them. But I do use it all the time because I'm constantly adding monograms or names or initials to different projects just to make them more fun. Or I like to take different embroidery designs and put them all together to make one new design. So if you're interested in learning all the fun things that Embroidery Essentials can do, come check out my new online course. It's called Embroidery Essentials. It is completely online and a self-paced course that goes through all the portions of the program and teaches you how to use them. It's available for enrollment only this week. It's going to close next week, September 27th at midnight. So if you're interested in it, come join us before I close enrollment and the sale is over. So you want to get it before the sale's over, definitely. And that was it. So that was my 2 announcements for you. If you are not already on my email newsletter, come join, because that's where I'm going to tell you things that are going on in my craft room each week. You're going to get, a head notice on when the next sip and stitches are and when my holiday workshop's coming out. And if I do any other fun classes like with Sewing Machines Plus or anyone else, I usually tell y'all all about it in my email newsletter. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed our project of making these cute spiderweb purses and zippered bags. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and you can always email me at hello@carlybell.com. I try to check my email every day. I'm much better at that than with comments, I have to say. So if you ever need anything or have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to try and get back to you and help you. So our next Sip and Stitch is going to be towards the end of October. I think it's the 4th Friday in October, because I'm going out of town for one of them. And my plan is to do an embroidered hat on my Brother 6-needle machine. But this time I want to use the flat brim cap driver. I want to show you this fancy cap driver option that machine has. And we'll be stitching probably a football themed hat for football season. But that is my plan for October's Sip and Stitch. So if you're interested in learning how to embroider hats, come back next time and we're going to be going over all of that. All right. Thank you so much, guys. All right. I really appreciate you watching today. I know today was an extra long class, so thanks for y'all that stuck through it. And I hope to see y'all next time. All right. Bye, everybody.